Well, today we're going to take a look at the Heritage Rough Rider, also the Ruger Wrangler. Welcome to windy and cold North Dakota. Well, today we're going to take a look at the Heritage Rough Rider, also the Ruger Wrangler. We're just going to take a look at some of the pros and the cons. Now, I've done reviews on both these guns separately, but this is the first time I've actually had both guns in the same video. Now, I've been waiting for a few days to make this video. Weather really didn't want to cooperate, and today the wind isn't much better, but we'll give it a try. So now with the Heritage Rough Rider, we have a 6.5 inch barrel as opposed to the Ruger Wrangler, which has a 4.5 inch barrel. I really like the look of the Heritage and I like the feel, but I know a lot of you also like the Ruger Wrangler. So we're going to take a look at both. Now let me point out a couple of differences with the safeties. With the Ruger Wrangler, you have a transfer bar. Long story short, it basically means that the hammer is not going to hit the firing pin unless you pull the trigger. You can see there's a beak, I guess, if you could call it that, part of this hammer. That actually never hits the firing pin. What hits the firing pin is the transfer bar, which you see pop up when I cock it. That transfer bar fills in the gap underneath the beak there, and that's what actually ends up hitting the firing pin. So these are actually pretty safe. You can actually carry these with 6. Now with the Heritage, that's got a hammer block safety. You can see there is a block right there, and when I disengage the safety, that block disappears. So as long as that safety is activated, the hammer can't hit the firing pin. So if you've seen the original review on the Ruger Wrangler, you'd know that for me anyway, this gun was hitting low repeatedly. So I got a request from a viewer who wanted to see me use some different ammo in this gun, and they wanted to see some mini mags tried out, so why not? We'll see if we get a different point of impact with the mini mags. So what you see here are 3 groups that I fired with the Ruger Wrangler. The first group was the one in the middle there, and that was with the mini mags, and they still hit a bit low. The second group is the group to the left. That was just with 40 grain Thunderbolts, round lead nose. Now the third group, the one to the upper right, that is after I actually took some metal off the front sight. I went ahead and filed it down, and that again, that group was with 40 grain CCI mini mag. So now that I got my point of impact, point of aim a little more matched up, now let's go ahead and fire a couple more groups, and we'll just go ahead and compare accuracy. We'll fire around with the Heritage Rough Rider. We'll fire a group with the Ruger Wrangler. I went ahead and switched out the cylinder on the Heritage to the regular long rifle, and I'm just going to use CCI Standard Velocity 22 LR 40 grain lead round nose. Group at 7 yards. So with the exception of that flyer there, that is about a 1 inch group. Okay, I got the Ruger Wrangler loaded up with some CCI mini mags 40 grain. Not quite as good on that one. Let's warm up with the Heritage. There is such thing in this country. That one don't want to go down. That one either. Yeah, I love the cold steel of a Old West revolver, but on a day like today, it's a little nippy on the hands. Finally. Trying to get the old cold fingers to work here. You know, a lot of people think, oh, it's too cold, too windy to target practice today. You wouldn't make it in North Dakota. These are a lot of fun to shoot. The only downside is you only get 6. You run out quick. Spinner on the right. That bowling pin's gotta die. There, we got it to die. Those little spinners are sometimes kind of hard to hit. Whoops, that's not what was supposed to happen. All right, let's go ahead and switch on over to the Ruger Wrangler. Let's kind of see where we're hitting. Not too bad. Jeez. Empty already. Of course, with these, you don't gotta half cock it to eject the rounds. You just gotta line it up with the ejector rod. There we go. We gotta try another shaving cream, guys. This is Barbasol Soothing Aloe. Okay, so I've switched the Heritage over to the Magnum cylinder. Yes, you can get these with Magnum, which is pretty cool. I'm kind of curious what some Hornady Critical Defense 22 Magnum 45 grain might do to a 2 liter. I don't know if you can see that. Muzzle velocity 1700 FPS. Of course, with handguns it's less, at 1000 FPS. I'm kind of wondering if we're even getting that with a revolver, because you do have some power loss with the cylinder gap. Hey, can you bring me some gun oil? I gotta clean off the GoPro again. So final thoughts. I would have to say that the accuracy would have to go to the Heritage Rough Rider. I was shooting about 1-inch groups, whereas the Ruger Wrangler, I was pushing about 2-inch groups. Now, as far as appearance, that's obviously a very individual thing. I just like the look of the Rough Rider. But of course, you might like the look of the Ruger. Now, as far as durability goes, I gotta say I have probably 300 to 400 rounds through this thing in the short amount of time that I've had it. And so far, so good, no malfunctions. Now, I have heard of a couple cases where some people said they had some issues with the hammer spring, or they had to replace it. Now, I will say that this hammer is very easy to pull back. It's almost like maybe it's too easy. Not sure. Maybe that's just a plus, who knows? But like I said, so far so good. For me, if I ever do have an issue with the hammer spring, I'll let you know on here. Now, contrast that to the Ruger Wrangler. The hammer, that's a lot harder to pull back. We were talking durability. This gun does feel a lot more solid. I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, you can tell, maybe you can't tell by looking at the video, but the hammer definitely, that's a solid hammer. Well, that's just about gonna wrap it up. Thanks for checking out my video. See you on the next one. Take care.